Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. At the moment, Ledger is currently having a 30% off sale on their Ledger Nano S Plus in select colors. That is 30% off. They're also having a 10% off sale on their Ledger Family Pack X, the Ledger Family Pack S Plus, and the Ledger Backup Pack as well. While I do not work for Ledger, I am an affiliate, and I have an affiliate link in the description below for those of you looking to secure and keep your cryptocurrencies safe. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. This is a very interesting news day. You'll see it has I don't necessarily care for the term vibes, but it has that kind of feeling from a couple of months ago, or even, dare I say, actually years ago. There's a lot of excitement in the cryptocurrency space, a lot of people predicting, trying to figure out where prices are going to go, where things will be in the relative to near future. A lot of people are often quite optimistic about October for cryptocurrency prices. You might have seen people talk about Uptober. If you haven't, it's a very popular thing. Historically, we have seen September, for whatever reason, be a negative month for cryptocurrency prices across the board. I think maybe we've bucked the trend once or twice, but normally September is like I don't know why I made that sound, but like a sloping kind of month, prices going down. October, however, for whatever reason, tends to be when we see prices moving back up. And of course, you might have put 2 and 2 together and got 3.5, because that's where the cryptocurrency market currently is, and people are trying to figure out if the current trend of Uptober, if it might do something significant or have some type of a significance for the future Bitcoin halving. I told you all before, this is going to be a very popular topic. I know it might sound like a broken record, me constantly had to sit up straight, constantly saying, oh my back, constantly saying the Bitcoin halving, but it is a gigantic event which always thus far has seen a monumental amount of price movements afterward. So as you might have imagined, the last couple of days you've seen in the videos, people are talking about price predictions, price movements, where they think things are going to go, how high things will be. People are predicting by the end of October. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin to make a significant price move in the next 5 to 10 weeks. A lot of people are predicting that by the time we are nearing the end of this year, if you think about it, it's actually very, very weird. We have, and here's some logic for you. We have October, we have November, we have December, and then the year is over. We're just about halfway through October, so we literally only have around 10 weeks left of this year. I know that sounds insane, but this has been one of the quickest years of my entire life. I can't be the only one who felt this way. I remember it being January. I remember being January 2nd, saying Happy New Year to friends. I blinked and it was like March, and I was like, okay, the weather got warmer. Before I knew it, it was June, and now it's October. Very weird year. But the idea is that for those of you who, if this is your first cycle and or your second cycle, that is to say you went through 2021, or this is your first time here all together for the big shebang, what typically happens is that even the public begins to get into the cryptocurrency space because of news about the Bitcoin halving. It tends to rotate within the cryptocurrency space for a couple of months. People begin to talk about it. You're going to start to see countdowns for it. I've seen a lot of countdowns, like actual websites that say I think we currently have less than 200 days left. Then it'll be 150 days left. When we have the 100 days left, that's when the mega countdowns will begin. It'll happen sometime around beginning to mid-January. As we get closer to April, when the actual halving is going to happen, it will begin to be in your normal news, in the financial news, in CNBC, in Bloomberg, you name it, it's going to be everywhere. Everyone's going to be talking about it. But we're now at the point where as we have seen before in 2019 and 2016 and 2015 and the other years as well. Bitcoin always does this really annoying thing, and it's kind of like a trend sideways. If you look at Bitcoin's price charts now, you will see that the last couple of months we have mainly been moving within the same channel. We have not gone any higher than this. We have remained in the same steady course. We bounce up, we bounce down, but it's within the same exact amount of prices. We don't go above 29,000. We don't go below 22,000. We keep getting near 22,000. We bounce above it. We go back above 27,000. That same exact thing over and over. At some point, this breaks. We do not know where, how, and when it will break. And we've even seen before in the past that there is sometime a break downwards. That is to say, the optimism is that we get into this descending or ascending channel, or simply a trend sideways. And at some point, all the analysts come together, they hold hands, they say kumbaya, and they predict that this is the day, this is the week. And they're fairly correct. A couple of times, of course, they've been like a couple of days off, but if you remember, years ago, there was one really weird week. Every single day, the largest portion of the news was that prices are about to move. Prices are about to move. Bitcoin's price is about to do something. And I was like, okay, sure, why not, whatever. And lo and behold, that week, Bitcoin completely slammed down. But this was also an indicator that there was extra liquidity in the market. People were moving things around. The price moved down so much that it actually triggered a bunch of buy orders. Because what happens is that if people are like high frequency trading and or people who have like a lot of money in buy orders, they simply say, I will not let Bitcoin go below 20,000 because it seems like it's worth more than that. Bitcoin's price begins like this downward trend. It slams down. All of a sudden, it begins to shoot back up. We get news that Bitcoin went down by 6%, but moved up by 9% in the exact same day as well. People began to buy. That's the general idea. We are now in the time frame, in the box, that people think that, of course, by the end of this year, just based off of the actual metrics we've been getting, the amount of Bitcoin left on crypto exchanges, everything is leading up to something. I know that sounds cheesy and it sounds like the market's going to go up or down, like kind of thing. But understand that the hyper significance of the news that we keep getting, of governments and countries and institutions who are mining Bitcoin, who are using Bitcoin. A lot of times we get news that MicroStrategy is doing something or Cathie Wood is doing something, and that tends to be the only thing that sticks in people's minds. Bitcoin is a global currency that is being accumulated by millions of people around the world. We have the people who are accumulating 0.01 every week or two. We have the people who are accumulating half a Bitcoin per month. We have the companies who are accumulating thousands of Bitcoin at one time. We keep getting news that the amount of Bitcoin on crypto exchanges continues to decrease. What was the news that we had a couple of weeks ago? I think it's something like 80 to 85% of all Bitcoin that there is unmoved, is not moving. People have continued to take crypto exchanges off of Bitcoin off of crypto exchanges and move it into these wallet addresses that have only accumulated Bitcoin over the course of the last 5 to 7 years. All of this accumulation leads up to major price movements. It's just that we gotta kind of, get there at some actual point. So very popular news. A lot of the news today had to do with money and movements, which we haven't seen in a while. Usually it's kind of these really weird Sam Bankman-Fried, what this person did, how this person's reacting to this, what this person thinks this means, what's happening with Ripple in the SEC, what's happening with Cardano. Did Charles Hoskinson buy a new dog? It's all these really weird kind of news stories. It says Bitcoin to make big move in the next 5 to 10 weeks. These are the targets. This analyst in particular believes that Bitcoin is either going to move towards $20,000, which is the number that we've also been talking about for the last couple of weeks. It is like the annoying number of the year. We always have one where the naysayers basically are saying that if there is a negative move down, Bitcoin will rush towards $20,000, but 20,000 is the negative end of the target range, where from that point we will bounce off of it. The other flip side of this, according to this analyst, is that if we do see an upside after the big move has taken place, we will be around a $35,000 to a $40,000 Bitcoin. Some people are predicting a $50,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. I would say cool it down, hold your horses. There's so many other things happening on the macro world economic side between China. You've seen that not doing too well. A lot of other economies are still going through inflation. Their governments have not gotten it under control. A lot of other stuff I would like to talk about, but the algorithm will pick it up. But yeah, the world is still rapidly changing. Everything is not hunky-dory. Everything's not, thumbs in the air right now around the world. There's still a lot of problems and complications. A prominent digital asset venture capitalist believes that the bottom is likely forming for the top cryptos by market cap. Chris Berniski, the founder of Placeholder Capital, told people on Twitter that a bull market is likely coming that will make the current financial quarter a clear cycle bottom for crypto prices. It's always this hindsight 2020 kind of thing, where we once again look a year in the future and then you look a year in the past and go, okay, that was clearly the day when prices were at their bottom and prices have only moved up from there. That was the bottom of the market. We are clearly in a bullish trend, a bull market right now over the course of the last 6 months, because we can see that prices did not go below this number. A lot of people think that we have already reached the bottom. It seems completely logical. We have enough market manipulators in the space. These are people who have hundreds of millions of billions of dollars at their disposal. It is clear that they are and could be in a position to make sure that they push more people out. This is a constant 365-day cycle where these people don't want us in the market. This is very important to understand if you think about long-term trends within the cryptocurrency market. A lot of times you hear these millionaires and billionaires getting on stage talking about the cryptocurrency market and how amazing it is and how much money they've made. They're talking about themselves. They don't care how much money other normal people are making. They're talking about how much money they stand to make. They are probably also part of these group of people who make sure that they put in certain sell orders to lower the prices of things within the cryptocurrency space so that they can buy more. Why do you think we keep getting news that these institutions and these companies and these banks bought at this price? We got in at this amount of, they're waiting for the market to go down. It would be foolish to believe that these people who are buying up $173 million worth of Bitcoin at one time aren't also trying to make prices go down so that they can buy more at a much lower price. It would seem like the price bottom is in. No one knows. If anyone tells you that they do, they're lying to you and they're just, lying, or maybe they just simply don't know how numbers actually work. But it would seem that we are currently at the bottom of the market, but we will see as the future ends up going on. This is another one. It says Bitcoin gearing up for a strong move, according to an analyst, is someone called Crypto Rover. The next big Bitcoin move is coming within the next 5 to 10 weeks. The bearish target for this person is $12,000. That's incredibly bearish. And the bullish target is $63,000 within the next 10 weeks. Cool it. That's a little bit too intense. This one says XRP to $2. An in-depth analysis of the multi-year descending channel. I would assume this is a normal economic thought process, wherein if something goes down for a longer period of time, then therefore the longer period of time it will have to go up. This is at least something within the cryptocurrency space that has been happening for a while. It's probably more centered around crypto, as I said it out loud, because we have seen before that we have very weird cycles. We have 4-year cycles within the cryptocurrency space. They rotate around Bitcoin and Bitcoin's halving. This is why Bitcoin continues to be the, I hate the term king coin, but that is kind of the idea. Everything revolves around Bitcoin and Bitcoin's movements. And because XRP has been in this multi-year downward trend because of the corruption from the SEC, a lot of people are speculating that because we have kind of gotten towards the end of the forest, as far as with the entire lawsuit, and we saw the price move up over the course of the summer when we had clarification from the judge that the coin was not a security, and we also had something a couple of days ago that the SEC cannot refile for something. I don't remember. There's always so much news and stuff that's going on. People are now predicting where XRP's price is going to go in the short term, near term, if we end up seeing any type of movement upward. The reason why, so for those of you, and I'll try and give it to you very easily, because it says an in-depth analysis. We're not going into an in-depth analysis. My brain doesn't have time for that. The idea is that over the summer, when XRP was deemed to not be a security by the judge, we saw that the price moved up quite quickly. Was it 15, 20%? It was over 50 cents. I don't know the exact numbers, but that was a normal movement. However, the problem is that we saw prices move back down across the board. XRP was also affected because of the wider cryptocurrency market not really moving. We're in that same exact channel, trending sideways. We go up by 6%, go down 6%, up 6%, over and over and over and over and over. And the idea is that for the wider cryptocurrency market, if we get to the situation where Bitcoin is from 25,000, 26,000, 27,000, and shoots up to 38,000, 40,000 by the end of this year, of course, altcoins are also going to respond as well. Because altcoins tend to have a lot less liquidity than Bitcoin does, they have an easier time moving up and or moving down. So in the scenario where Bitcoin is almost doubling in price by the end of this year or by January, it is logically then assumed that altcoins would also move up a particular amount as well, probably within the exact same range, if not a little bit more, because of the difference in liquidity. And therefore, it would be relatively easy to understand that XRP could then 4x in price, because a lot of the downward price pressure would no longer be there. This is clearly some form of market manipulation, but if you look back at the charts from 2020, 2021, when we were actually having the bull run, you'll notice that XRP's price did not move a lot, which was clearly some form of manipulation by a whale, and I dare not even throw the name SEC in there. I don't know what they're doing with trading and stuff like that, but XRP's price, regardless of the lawsuit, should have moved up more. If you don't agree with that, I can't really help you, but that's kind of the actual thing, and that basically comes from the logic that there were so many other coins that were not spoken about, were not traded, no one's using them, no one's building on top of them. And I'll even use the Solana agreement. You can't break down 13 times and then still hit a brand new all-time high. It just does not logically make any sense. Bringing it on back, people think that. Therefore, this is why we're getting these like price predictions for XRP so often now. I saw one earlier. I was going to put it in the video kind of like as a chuckle, haha, but then I was like, no, it's actually like a bit embarrassing for whoever made that price prediction. There were people who were talking about that they expect or are thinking that XRP could go to $130 per coin because of an article or a tweet that was written by someone at Ripple like 3 years ago talking about a stock going to $130, and therefore they deciphered it as take away the name of the stock and put XRP there. And I'm like, that's not how things work. You can't talk about like a new building going up and the real estate inside of it, you know, being worth over $1 million per apartment. And you're like, wait, take out the word apartment and put iPhone. Every iPhone's going to be worth over, like, that's not, you can't just simply throw in the word XRP. Use it like just a little bit more logic. If XRP got near $4 in 2017, based off of a rumor that they were going to be listed on Coinbase, and this was before we had any of the mega interoperability that we currently have with XRP right now. Like, you should be looking at the fact that the people from Ripple are openly working with dozens of banks to help them create a central bank digital currency on top of the XRP blockchain. that there are about 50 different companies who are actively using XRP. Every month that Ripple unlocks the 1 billion XRP from the escrow, several 100 million XRP is actually being sold. They're quite transparent. They're not selling it onto the open market. They're selling it to companies who plan on using it. We've heard from some of the largest banks in Japan who said that they're actively going to be using XRP. That's what you should be basing your logic and prices on. We are going at some point to hit a $10 XRP. We hit nearly $4 in 2017 off of a Coinbase rumor. Now imagine what actually happens in 2024 and 2025 when we actually have usage and the market is actually moving upward, and we have news that multiple countries are building their central bank digital currency on top of the XRP ledger. That is a $10 plus XRP right there. Can we hit $2 in XRP by the end of this year? I think anything is possible. Anytime that we've already hit a number, it is already completely repossible for me in my mind. This really revolves around what type of movements we're going to see in the cryptocurrency space moving towards the halving, and also macroeconomic events. Don't forget, we're still under the boot of the Fed, who is predicting, talking about, potentially hinting that they may continue raising interest rates. That's going to be the big kicker. You know, will the economy halt? Will things collapse? What's this guy's name? Who I just made a video on the other channel, Michael Burry, the guy from The Big Short. Remember, he just said he put aside $1.6 billion in an argument with someone because he's like, the world's economy is going to collapse. But he's also been saying that for the last like 12 years. So, you know, grain of salt kind of thing. Also heavily in the news is Arthur Hayes, the former CEO of BitMEX. I think it was BitMEX, Bit something, has predicted that Bitcoin is going to hit $750,000. This might sound familiar. It's not, because we were just talking about a day or two ago, Arthur Hayes was in the news talking about that he believes that during the 2024-2025 euphoric bull run, that Bitcoin is going to hit between $200,000 and $250,000 per coin. He's basing it on all the other metrics we were just talking about at the beginning of the video. The amount of Bitcoin that's not on crypto exchanges, the amount of this that's happening, the amount of usage, you name it. However, he has come forth with a brand new prediction that is driving the cryptocurrency market wild. Why? Because he is saying that he expects that, and this is I'll give you the idea and then I'll tell you what his idea is. It's the exact same thing. There's an old idea within the cryptocurrency space that Bitcoin's price at some point will become stable. It will not be a stable coin per se, but there will be a time in the future where Bitcoin has so much liquidity that it will end up moving similar to the US dollar and or the euro. They may go up by 0.5% one day. They may go down by 0.25%, you know, comparative to other world currencies. But you need hundreds of trillions of dollars floating through Bitcoin at any given time to kind of give it that kind of oomph to really not have these like wild fluctuations anymore. That also ties into the idea of Bitcoin being the world currency, but what have you. The idea of so much money flowing into our market does a number of things. It gives the idea of, oh, snap, prices are definitely going to be rising because of all the money that's flowing into the market. But it also adds to the idea of we might not have these crazy price crashes anymore in the future. That is to say, if we have heard that over the course of this year, think of the dozens of banks, the dozens of institutions, the BlackRocks, all those names. We've had over 150 this year who are putting their money into the market. This adds an extreme amount of liquidity to our market, which also then lends the idea that all these people are buying up all this Bitcoin when prices are low. We have had these price movements down in the past because mainly the people who were in the cryptocurrency space were me and you. It was the normal everyday people who were putting money into the market when they saw that the market was going up. When the market has halted, stops going up, isn't going up as fast, I see it in my views. I don't have as many views on my video. We don't have as much liquidity in the market because the normal people have left. If Bitcoin becomes an integral part of the world economy and we have multiple ETFs, physical ETFs, from these countries and companies who are buying up all this Bitcoin and using it. The idea of a downtrend in Bitcoin's price might only result in a 20% price drop. So Bitcoin might or would, in theory, only go from 250,000 back down to 180, 190,000 and kind of float around there, as opposed to Bitcoin going to 250,000 back down to 60,000. So any major movement might not really take place anymore. So that's what the idea is. Arthur Hayes is believing that because of the extra liquidity and the extra movements within the cryptocurrency market, any major price movements down might not last for long, as we will still be in the 4-year cycles for Bitcoin, but there'll be a whole different twist on them in that we won't move up as much and we won't have a downtrend as severe. So instead of Bitcoin going from 70,000 like we saw before back down to 20,000 like we also saw before, and then moving up to the $150, $200, $250,000 price mark, we would see Bitcoin go up to 250,000, fall by maybe 10, 20, 30,000, and then slowly move up still over the course of the next couple of years, because the interest hasn't waned, hasn't gone away. The institutions are there, and there are now trillions of dollars flowing through the market. It's basically about extra liquidity happening from the world. This is why it's very significant that these people are getting into the market. Not only because price rise, cool, but it's also like this establishes Bitcoin as a mega asset class that won't simply falter away over the course of a 2-year period while we have a downtrend. So back to what Arthur Hayes is saying, he thinks that if we end up hitting $250,000, any price movement that we have down won't last for long. And on the way to the next halving in 2028, will it be? Yeah, 2028. That by 2026 to 2028, we will actually see a $500,000 Bitcoin. That is to say, Bitcoin becomes more scarce. Institutions continue to buy. I told you all before, like, understand the, and I'm sure you do. This isn't me like, talking down to you. It's more of a like, really understand the significance of the number 21 million and then 6 million being lost and gone forever. 80 to 85% of all Bitcoin is now being held by the richest people on the planet. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left. Any movement up in price is going to be a major movement upward. If we have the halving, think of next year, the amount of Bitcoin that's currently being created is going to get cut in half. That is going to create a gigantic price shock for people within the market and people who are trying to get into the market. This only accelerates when these people realize how scarce Bitcoin is, and then they go, I need to continue buying as much Bitcoin as possible. And that trend continues in 2025, 2026, 2027, and people panic and go, in 2028, the same exact shock is going to happen again. I need to buy as much Bitcoin as I can before the next halving in 2028 happens, when there's even less Bitcoin being made. And that's where we get to the $750,000 prediction. It's between 2026 and 2028. He's expecting prices to not go down, to only continue rising. And he claims or believes that, I think he says he has like charts that he's been looking at. He thinks that by the time we get to 2029, that is to say the year after the 2028 halving numbers, he thinks that we will then see $1 million Bitcoin just based off of logic, numbers, accumulation, and scarcity. I finally got there. Sorry it took me so long, but a lot of times I want to make sure that I give you information about what other people are saying, and I'm not simply like throwing information into the air. Like Arthur Hayes says 750,000. Next. Like, I want you to really understand the mindset behind these people who have all this money. They're not significant because they are rich. They're not better than any of us. It's more of I have had situations where I sit in a room with my friends who I invest in, and the stuff that we talk about sounds absolutely insane. I would think to other people sitting in the restaurant with us. We talk about accumulation of assets. We talk about accumulation of art. We talk about accumulation of real estate and buying real estate in other countries. And, you name it. We're having weird conversations. So when you put other people in a completely different price bracket of people who have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, they're thinking about the market in ways that I can't begin to fathom. So when they throw out these numbers and talk about they expect prices to be here at a certain point, it's because they're having conversations with their friends who were like, yeah, I'm going to put 10 million into the market tomorrow. I've been thinking about 15 million into this coin. That's kind of the generalized idea, and that's where the actual significance comes from. Yeah, Bitcoin to reach $1 million by 2026. This was said by Arthur Hayes. Is this also a price one as well? I guess this also relatively ties into, it definitely ties into the price news as well. It says yesterday, approximately 110,000 Ether, equivalent to $181 million, were withdrawn from cryptocurrency exchanges. This was shared by Santiment on Twitter. This marked the highest daily outflow of Ether from exchanges since the 21st of August of this year. The amount of crypto on exchanges continues to decline. The amount of Bitcoin that's being held by the wealthy rises every single day. The amount of liquid Bitcoin that you are able to buy, me, you, us, we, on crypto exchanges decreases every 24 hours. A lot of times, and there are charts for this. You can find the charts. You can see how much crypto is left on exchanges. The really crazy part is when over the course of a 24-hour period, people take off huge amounts of crypto like this. So there's a huge difference between every day, organically, people taking off 500 or 800 Ether from cryptocurrency exchanges in a day. But to have a day, one day, where 110,000 Ether is taken off, that is done on purpose. That's people who have accumulated. All their buy orders went in. They have as much Ether as they want. They took all that Ether off at the exact same time. Santiment also revealed that the amount of Ether being held in wallets outside of exchanges has reached an all-time high of 115,000 Ether. That is to say, I think there's 130 or 140 million Ether like currently in total right now. I think it's 130 or 140. 115 million Ether is now outside of crypto exchanges and is being held in personal wallets. The numbers are crazy. And I do hope that eventually prices reflect the actual insanity of how few crypto there actually is left out there. But to see these numbers every single day and to see that anyone might be bearish is incredibly weird to me, because we keep getting very good news every single day. Additionally, the supply of Ether available on exchanges is now at its lowest point in approximately 5.5 years. Yeah. Very big news all the time. Here's the tweet from Santiment showing their charts. I don't have to read all of it. It's basically everything that we were just talking about. I am incredibly optimistic about the future. I get it. I do understand that there's a what do you call this in the air? Like a sense of negativity. Everyone's waiting for the exact same thing. This was the issue of 2020 and 2021 as well, when the cryptocurrency market was going down because of you know why. By the time we got to 2021, you could feel the energy in the air because everyone was anticipating a movement higher in prices. This exact same feeling that I currently have, I had this before beginning of 2017 in the market. You want the market to do something and it doesn't react. If you look at my older videos, especially when I used to rant a lot more, it was because we used to have, and I didn't understand it back then. I didn't understand the levels of movements in the market. The amount of good news that we would have was staggering. And keeping in mind, this was before banks and institutions and BlackRock and Fidelity and all these other things liked us openly. This is when they hated us. This is when they were talking down about us. And we just had speculation about the potential future of the cryptocurrency market. The news every single day was monumentally amazing. And you would look at the market and it would go down 4%. This is exactly where we are right now. I'm exactly the same as you. I want the good news to also translate into price movements. If we follow the same 4-year trend, we will eventually see these movements. I am also frustrated in constantly getting all this good news, but it does usually end up translating into mega movements into the market. We end up having a period where we see that Bitcoin is back at 65,000. We realize we're not even in 2025 yet. The market's going absolutely insane. It becomes euphoric. Everyone's making tons of money. It will happen. It's just a matter of patience. But I've noticed my patience is wearing quite thin simply because of, now, if we can talk a little bit, candidly here, because of everything happening in the world. I'm not the only one. You must also be getting the news, reading the news, looking at the news, or seeing what's happening around the world. I have an immense amount of frustration for everything that's currently happening. And I just kind of want the extra happy period to begin. And that happens when we have an actual bull run. So I've seen people's comments. I understand. Believe me, I'm right there with you. Regardless of how optimistic or happy I am in videos, I generally have a happy demeanor about me. But believe me, I feel the frustration as well. I am right there with you. I promise. We will get to the good times because we've been through all of this before. And also a side note to everyone all the time, because I always see these people, every single person out there who always says when Bitcoin goes up by 15, 20%, XRP pumps up. When OMI, when OMI goes up by 25%, and I see people saying, no, not now. I want prices to stay low so that I can continue buying. You've had 2 years. Everyone who wanted to buy, I hope you've been buying. I hope you've been accumulating. Because at some point prices will not be this low anymore. And I don't want to hear anyone talking about I want prices to be lower because it's about time for them to move up. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.